If you Google this topic, you're going to find a bunch of things out there for Agile Project Manager. But what does that even mean? What is an Agile Project Manager? So I started doing some digging, and there's not really a clear definition anywhere. But here's the main idea: if you've got a project manager and they're using some agile development techniques, they're using agile ways of working with the team and managing a backlog, and some of these kind of cherry picking of practices you often find in Scrum or extreme programming. Mix that with traditional project management, and you get this agile project manager. So the main idea is you've got one person who's sort of owning the management of the project, when in Scrum, we kind of flip that around and it's the entire Scrum team that manages the project. And so they don't have a dedicated role in Scrum. Yet we keep seeing this Agile Project Manager thing all around the internet and on job descriptions. So speaking of the job descriptions thing, Greg, what are your thoughts on this? When you see job descriptions looking for an Agile Project Manager, what are you thinking?
Well, first, I think the project management with that agile spin is perhaps better than project management with that, without the agile spin. What I think we're still going to see, though, is the accountability and ownership of the success or failure for that project still rests primarily on the shoulders of one person. So whether you are an agile project manager or just a regular project manager, you still bear the responsibility and the accountability and the ownership of the project, its success and its failure. So as these job descriptions really add some new ideas and familiar with agile practices, know how to manipulate a backlog, have thorough stakeholder engagement, understand the needs of the customers, those are very agile way of thinking, but it still ends up resting on the shoulders of one person, because then it says, oh, and also able to influence the execution of the project. So it's still on one person, all the things tied into one person with an agile twist. It might be a bit better, but it's still management of people and tasks and projects. And I think that's where the job descriptions are really not all that different, just maybe with a little agile spice. That's about it.
Like a little cumin, a little bit of chili pepper.
Yeah, that's
Sprinkle a
right.
little agile on there.
Just a little extra. Kosher agile.
Yeah, I've seen this play out in several organizations where you have, the company has decided from on high, we're doing agile, give us all the agiles, or however they're going to phrase it, and then they just don't know how to operate without that role of project management. And so rather than leaning into self-management and building autonomous teams that manage their activities, that manage their backlogs, that manage all the things that need to be managed in development activities, they still have sort of a predefined scope. They have a predefined budget. They have a predefined timeline. And yet somehow we're doing agile or trying to be agile. It takes a lot of the adaptability out of it. You're mixing the paradigms here where you have this predetermined path and we're not really optimizing for our ability to learn and change and move in different directions to accommodate some of those unknowns that are inherent in the complex domain. So I think there really is a fundamental misunderstanding here when we try to bolt on project management into these agile teams.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking on that fundamental misunderstanding, when you see companies that are asking for agile project managers, or they're looking for them actively, or they're defining this role, it's often a sign that they don't get it. And I hate to say that in a judgmental sort of way, but more they don't understand the point of this word agile. It's not about sprinkling a bunch of practices on top of your existing project management techniques. It's about fundamentally changing the way your business operates to optimize for nimbleness, for agility, for the ability to pivot quickly when you realize you're on the wrong path. Traditional project management isn't really set up to look for those things. It's set up to keep the train on the tracks, keep to the plan, and of course manage risks and identify them as you're moving along. But they're fundamentally tuned for different things. And so when you take one technique that's tuned for rigidity and staying the course, staying on the path, and managing the risks, as opposed to looking constantly for a new way to execute on a goal, you put those two together and you end up with some sort of a Frankenstein hybrid that oftentimes doesn't get the best of either world. And so for those of you looking for new jobs or whatever in the Agile project management space, it's oftentimes a great opportunity for you to find those companies looking for those hybrid roles, because then you get to cut your teeth on teaching them the benefits of a more nimble way of working and what this word Agile means in the first place. The companies that already get it, there's no teaching opportunity there. They already know it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it. And if you guys have any thoughts about it yourself, those of you viewing this video, hit the comments down below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you like this video, well, hit that like button, and the subscribe button's right there. And what's the other one? The notification bell. That one's right over here. Just hit those.
Yeah, gotta bell me.
Gotta bell me. Or reach out. Just email us, and we'll put you on our mailing list, and you can get the latest updates that way too.